So I want to talk to you about 4 things. The one is what's going to drive this change, and I'm going to be covering what some of the speakers before me did. How is these drivers of change, how will it change the needs of this consumer, the impact on customer experience, and what you can do. So I want to leave you with some stuff that you can do. So let's quickly look at the drivers of change. We've spoken about wearables, and although a lot of the stuff sounds so far-fetched, you would know that I started wearing a Fitbit last year. It's amazing. It changes my entire approach to living healthy. Now I know exactly how long I sleep, and I know I don't sleep enough, and I know my levels of activity, and I can plot my mood against that. When I do my 10,000 steps, I'm just like a picnic in the park, okay? If I don't, I'm a miserable bitch. So all of a sudden, at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, when my Fitbit says to me, on my mobile phone, you only have 1,000 steps to go, I print at the furthest printer in the building. And I make that because I'm immensely competitive. So all of a sudden, devices are going to change our behavior. Kids don't need to know everything anymore because they have Google. So everything's sitting in the cloud. So it's about deciding what you need to know and what you don't need to know. The next thing I want to talk about, and Claudia had this in her presentation, is self-driving cars. Again, take the effort, take the complexity, take the anxiety out of travel. And that is a Volvo. That's a Google car. And they are experimenting now with self-parking cars, which I would really love, because usually if I park, nobody can get in next to me. The next thing is really around intelligent devices. I absolutely hate grocery shopping. I would never go into a grocery store for pleasure. I would go into a deli, not into a Pick and Pay. Why can my fridge not order milk when it's out? So we're moving into an era of immensely intelligent devices that can place orders when things are finished from your favorite store. Everything's already set up for you. You don't need to intervene. Again, you might say this is far-fetched. There's an amazing platform. If you want to make a note or watch the Brandlove blog, I'll blog about it. Platform called IFTTT. It stands for if this, then that, where you can set up automation rules. Now, you get IFTTT-enabled coffee machines, which means I can send an email saying, I'm going to be home in 10 minutes, make me a cappuccino, and the machine will make me a cappuccino. Also, Philips has a set of lights that you can control remotely, and also set rules to say, if my car is approaching the house from my geolocation, please switch on my lights. So we're moving into an era of super clever devices and massive automation related to those devices. Biometrics, I often say when I've done business with you, you know me. When I've done my fingerprint at the bank, you know me. Why can that not become my global identity wherever I go? So we're going to see a huge transition to using biometrics as a method of identification. And then voice activation. So I've been really experimenting with Siri for the last few weeks. I can tell you we've had some amazing conversations, and you know, if you think about your first date, you can have a really amazing conversation with Siri. But if you're in the car driving somewhere and you're trying to get directions and Siri cannot understand where you want to go, it really gets ugly. So what's really amazing as well, and I invite you to look at these recipes, IFTTT have a recipe where you can set a reminder through Siri. It then uploads it to Evernote, so when you open your Evernote desktop, all your reminders are sitting in Evernote. So in terms of us trying to manage our time, we need to carefully look at what are we busy with, and what of that can be outsourced and automated. And all these devices will just start doing that for us. Okay, so what does this mean for needs? If we look at this consumer of the future, she will want instant everything. if we look at how consumer expectations have changed over the last 2 to 3 years around email, 3 years ago it was all right if you got an auto response that said, we will answer your email within 24 hours. That is no longer okay. If I can tweet RB Jacobs and he responds to me within 5 minutes, why would I send an email and wait 24 hours? Then highly personal. Dear client will no longer be accepted in the future. Okay? My bank, they know who I am, they know where I go, they know what I buy, they know when I have my period. For Pete's sake, why can't they call me by my name? Control. So I'll talk a little bit later about the typical, so there's 2 aspects to control. The one is around leadership. The other one is around control of your brand. So how it used to work is we get in a marketing company, we tell them how can we make this brand amazing, and we own everything. In future, you will have to surrender control to the consumer. And if you do it in the right manner, they will take full control of your brand and they will make it something amazing without you having to intervene. If we look at the trends around marketing spend, a lot of companies are saying, we're no longer spending on marketing, we're spending on our own people. They need to be our marketing. Then choice. I think it's no longer acceptable to say to people, you need to email me or you need to phone me. They will want choice about the channel that they use. And they will be super connected. If you think about the last meeting or the conference that you were in, where someone said to you, could we just be sensitive towards each other and either switch off your mobile device or put it on silent? Okay, that is a typical critical parent response. You can no longer do that. If I do that, I disengage you totally. So we can't expect people to disconnect from their devices any longer. It's more about how do we use that 5-second attention span. Then we talk about super communication. You heard Craig Lee's piece of research around, people no longer using email. We were doing a focus group a while back with financial advisors, and we said to them, guys, we need to talk to you about whether you would use a mobile app if we built a mobile app for you to do a financial needs analysis. How do you communicate with your clients? They said to us, we don't need a mobile app. We communicate via WhatsApp. If I've got a young professional who's got a little bit of extra money, he'll say to me, where do I need to put my money on WhatsApp? And I'll tell him. So the assumptions we make around how people communicate, we need to relook at those assumptions. And then evaluation and tracking. I could see my Jean Bliss book at every moment where it was in the Amazon journey. Totally used to doing tracking. But now I can evaluate whether it's cheaper to buy it at Take-A-Lot or whether I need to buy it from Amazon. It was not available on Take-A-Lot, so Amazon was the only choice. So we will do much more instant evaluation as we're standing in a store trying to buy stuff. And then this consumer of the future will listen to others much more than what they would listen to your marketing messages. So how do you spread that story that will make sense and that story that will build your brand? So let's look at the impact on customer experience. And in this section, I'm going to use a few marketing campaigns to really illustrate this. So I want to go through the next couple of points. Brands who will win are the brands who will listen, the brands who surrender control, the brands who create meaning, the brands who solve problems, the brands who are quick, the brands who are better at the basics, and the brands who cut through the bullshit. Those will be the brands that will win. I will also make this deck plus the videos available. So I want to just use a couple of campaigns to illustrate this to you. The first campaign around listening is a brand that really thought about how to solve problems, not just for their own customers, but for a whole variety of customers. So look at this.
KLM is proud of its customer service, but there's one small problem. You have to fly KLM to experience it. In this problem, we saw an opportunity. Introducing Happy to Help, a 1-week, 24-hour day special customer service team set out to help every traveller in need around the world, especially people flying other airlines. To find out how we could track down passengers, we first analysed Twitter for half a year and compiled a list of hundreds of search words. Then, in the campaign week, we set up a control room at Amsterdam Airport and started searching, resulting in close to 500,000 travel-related tweets. Our team read through every single one to track down passengers in need of help. Most problems could be solved in a tweet. Some needed a bit more attention. We had a speedboat taxi ready on the Hudson River to beat New York traffic, a car in Amsterdam to pick up passports, and a motorbike in Hong Kong to track down forgotten items. A green screen studio gave us the freedom to improvise and get super personal.
Hey, Mr. Husky.
Nice, Jane. Mexico.
The local taxi service in Belfast.
If there's anything else we can do, we're happy to help.
We gave Eva a wake-up call for her early flight.
Goedemorgen Eva, dit is your wake-up call.
Provided a comfy bed for passengers who got stuck at the airport overnight. A speed tour of Amsterdam for people who had a couple of hours layover.
Snap your pictures, it will be gone in just a few seconds.
We sang a lullaby for Sean, who suffered from jet lag. Made Billy special LED party crutches for the Amsterdam dance event. Got Jill in touch with her boy band Crush to get her through her delay. And much, much more. The campaign got millions of views and was covered in media worldwide. But most importantly, we helped out thousands of passengers flying other airlines with KLM's customer service.
So what did they do here? They really listened and they created stories that people would tell to their peers. So quite an amazing campaign. I'd like to play you the next one around surrendering control.
On Super Bowl Sunday, the US is big, loud, and expensive. Sweden is Swedish. So how does Volvo compete with the other car brands and their millions spent on commercials during the game? We don't. We steal it.
When you see a car commercial during the game, any car commercial, not Volvo, you can tweet using the hashtag #VolvoContest.
The interception was simple. Their commercials would give you a chance to win one of our cars for someone you love. Just tweet their name to Volvo during any car commercial. When Mercedes wanted you to look here, people immediately went here. When Lexus spent 4.5 million for this, Twitter looked like this. Shifting the social conversation to Volvo. With up to 2,000 tweets per minute every time their commercials aired, we changed the Super Bowl conversation from one loud 30-second roar to an ongoing conversation about Volvo that lasted the entire game. We were the only car company to trend both nationally and globally.
So they weren't advertising on TV, they were letting all the other car companies do that for them.
And just like that, their millions of dollars worth of car commercials turned into a social conversation about Volvo, helping our XC60 to a 70% sales increase the month following the game, the highest in its segment.
So, if you are saying to me you are not innovating and you are not creating great experiences because you don't have money, you don't have the budget, you don't have the resources, you're talking shit.
What happens in terms of our environment that we operate in? In South Africa, what would competition commission do if you were to do that?
Let's try it. Let's see what they do. So it could be career limiting. Then go and get another job. So I think we need to think carefully about this. And this is not I'm not saying to go and run a campaign like this, because a campaign like this does cost money. What I'm saying to you is, look at the principle behind this. We surrender control. By surrendering control and not thinking in our paradigm of we need to book this many ads during the Super Bowl to get people to look at our brand. Because you know what? Our brand is the most important thing to them on earth. It is not. They don't give a shit about your brand. They give a shit about how you make them feel and the stories you give them to tell. So if we look at Zappos, let's bring it a little bit closer. If we look at Zappos, Zappos is an online shoe and accessory, and it's a fashion store, okay? But they say we're a service company who just happens to sell shoes. Johan has kept a guy from Zappos busy for 45 minutes one evening talking about boots. The end of the story was they don't ship to South Africa. So he said, wait, let me find 3 companies for you that ship to South Africa. I've got this boot that you want to buy for your wife, your lovely wife. Let me get other stores that ship to South Africa. And he came back with 3 other stores that ship that boot to South Africa. It was less important for them to make that sale than what it was to solve the problem. This man wants boots for his wife. He's in trouble. Need to ship the boots to South Africa. Let me solve the problem. Not let me be the brand who rescues him by. So the answer wasn't no, we don't do this. The answer was let's find someone who do this for you. Okay, the next one I want to play you really illustrates meaning and purpose. And I know Craig Lee spoke about authenticity this morning, and authenticity, if you go and Google books about authenticity, the word is really getting tired. But it's really important that we look at how we create value, how we create meaning. Brands with purpose will win. And this is a great campaign illustrating that. Hi, Erin.
Hi.
Okay, so I'm going to just give you some actions to do. And just do the first thing that comes to mind. Show me what it looks like to run like a girl.
My hair. Oh my God.
Show me what it looks like to fight like a girl. Now throw like a girl.
Aw. My name is Dakota, and I'm 10 years old.
Show me what it looks like to run like a girl. Throw like a girl. Fight like a girl. What does it mean to you when I say run like a girl?
It means run fast as you can.
So do you think you just insulted your sister?
No. I mean, yeah, insulted girls, but not my sister.
Is like a girl a good thing?
Actually, don't know if it's a bad thing or a good thing. It sounds like a bad thing. It sounds like you're trying to humiliate someone.
So when they're in that vulnerable time between 10 and 12, how do you think it affects them when somebody uses like a girl as an insult?
I think it definitely drops their self-confidence and really puts them down, because during that time they're already trying to figure themselves out. And when somebody says you hit like a girl, it's like, well, what does that mean? Because they think they're a strong person. It's kind of like telling them that they're weak and they're not as good as them.
And what advice do you have to young girls who are told they run like a girl, kick like a girl, hit like a girl, swing like a girl?
Keep doing it, because it's working. If somebody else says that running like a girl or kicking like a girl or shooting like a girl is something that you shouldn't be doing, that's their problem. Because if you're still scoring and you're still getting to the ball on time and you're still being first, you're doing it right. Doesn't matter what they say. I mean, yes, I kick like a girl and I swim like a girl and I walk like a girl and I wake up in the morning like a girl because I am a girl. And that is not something that I should be ashamed of. So I'm gonna do it anyway. That's what they should do.
If I asked you to run like a girl now, would you do it differently?
I would run like myself.
Would you like a chance to redo it?
Yeah.
Why can't run like a girl also mean win the race?
Who felt that? Where did you feel it?
My skin.
You felt it in your skin. I'm standing, these overactive tear ducts, okay? I've watched this 4 times. Okay, I cried every single time. And you know what? It took me until into my 40s where I really cared about what people think. Now, I just don't give a shit if someone says to me, you cry like a girl. And I think the brands who grab this purpose thing, everybody in this audience who has a little girl, think about it. Think about what we do. Think about how many things you've got inside you that were messages that you got at quite a young age. And if you look at the Cannes campaign winners of 2015, you will find this theme of purpose, brands with purpose and brands with meaning. You will find this theme running through all of the campaign winners. So I do want to invite you. Okay, if you're lying in bed, take your iPad, or if you're bored at work, take an hour, watch those campaigns. It's phenomenal stuff. And it's always easier to illustrate it like this. But what I'm saying is, go back to your environments and make sure that your people has meaning. That's going to carry them into this future where this consumer is really going to bully them. Okay, so let's look at the next one.
Nearly every day something almost happens. You've kind of got to be able to second guess the taxi in front of you or the pedestrians coming up.
I end up getting nearly hit at least once a day.
The young driver lost concentration and hit me from behind. I was extremely lucky that day. The doctor said that 95% of people that would have sustained those injuries would have been killed by them.
We're on roads that were built really 100 years ago for far less traffic.
In terms of cycling at night, I feel way less visible. Sometimes I choose not to cycle home at night. It's a lot more dangerous.
Light paint is a unique spray, different to other reflective products on the market. When you apply it to the surface, the reflective particles will stick together with a special adhesive, making the spray invisible by day, but light up at night in the glare of headlights.
Volvo is renowned for its safety innovations. Life Paint takes the principle of our 20/20 vision, protecting passengers inside the car to protect those outside too.
I think you've just got to be as visible as you can, and that's the good thing about Life Paint, is it makes it very hard for you to be missed.
Putting something on that will make you scream out to drivers like me is a fantastic thing.
I think cycle safety in London is not all about bicycles, it's about cars, it's about pedestrians, it's about sharing the road with other users. So it's great that a car brand has got involved to essentially help cyclists and help drivers in the end save lives.
So you really need to ask yourself, what problems are you solving? And what space are you claiming? Volvo's claimed the safety space. Do they own bicycles? Do they sell bicycles? Do they sell paint? Not really before this, but they've taken that space and they've claimed it and they've made a story around it. So I want to invite you, your non-touch points, which you say to me you don't have control over. Again, I say bullshit. Try and look for those non-touch points where you can claim a problem space that is unclaimed at the moment. The next one I want to play to you is, again, another innovative thing around problem solving. People with small kids, if they run around in the sun, what's your biggest problem? Getting sunburned? If you have sunblock with you, what's your biggest problem? Getting it on them. They don't like it. Okay, I want you to look at the following campaign.
Quase. Pera lá. Maria, vem cá.
Bom dia. A gente tem um presente pra você, sabia? Tá todo bonito.
Olha aqui onde passa o protetor, ó. Como é que tá branquinho, ó.
Não vou deixar a perna dela. Não.
Ai, que gostoso, filha.
Awesome. So the problem space they claimed wasn't around their product. It was around the application of their product and the problem it creates for parents to get the sunblock onto their kids. Another very innovative thing, I know Josh is watching my time, another very innovative thing that they did is they created little armbands that you tear out of a magazine. You program it on your phone, you put this armband on your child, and if they move within 5 or 10 meters from you, an alarm goes off. Again, how many children get lost on these extremely busy beaches? So these examples I give to you just to illustrate. Think about the rules you've made for yourself. Think about the box you've created for yourself and the problems that you're solving for your consumer, because they might not be relevant any longer. The last thing I want to kind of share with you is what you can do about this. I'd like to play a video clip for you of a guy that I really admire and that I've learned most of what I know about customer experience. I've learned from him. I've had the fortune of meeting him a few times, and fingers crossed, we're hoping to bring him out to South Africa next year for an amazing non-corporate, non-conventional retreat. So if you want to chat to me about that after the session, you can do that. He's also just dashingly handsome, and my husband knows that he's my plan B if anything should happen. Okay, so I want to introduce you to Lou Carbone.
We are living in such exciting times where the words customer experience are on almost everyone's lips. But are we really optimizing what that is about? And what systematic thinking, systems thinking, can add to the power of experience management? And so often I see organizations bolting on a project, bolting on measurement, bolting on pieces, and thinking that they have created a robust experience management system. They're taking steps in that direction, but it's really critical to unleash the full power of experience management, to have a holistic, fusionistic view of how these pieces come together to create that ultimate value that brings customers back again and again, that keeps employees from thinking, why am I working here and not working somewhere else? That emotional engagement, that investment in an organization doesn't happen by managing, by crossing our fingers and hoping the pieces that we put together will lead to that. It really requires systematic understanding of how we create those experiences, manage those experiences against an emotional end frame. And often what we find is that organizations are doing bits and pieces. Better to do bits and pieces than nothing. But if you're looking for the full power of experience management, it's a holistic, systematic view all the way from how we learn about an experience, create an experience, and then actually deliver that experience.
Okay, so let's step through that. Luke O'Brien also has an amazing book called Clued In, and you can order it online. So let's quickly look at that. We get called in a lot of the time, and people say to us, "Come and do an experience audit for us," and we rather enjoy doing that. And we have a lot of loyal customers as a result of doing those audits. But I think the message I want to leave you with is build that competency inside your organization. Teach everyone to look at your experiences as if they're seeing it for the first time. And when you deliver these experiences and when you design experience, so my particular passion and why I got so excited about this venue that has like full-size walls that you can write on, is really innovating and not solving one problem, but solving hundreds of little problems around that journey. So it's very important to learn how to really connect with your customer and reconnect, because this becomes a journey. As their needs change, you need to evolve and reconnect. The next thing is conceive, conserve, and continuously anticipate. So what we tend to do is throw out the baby with the bathwater. What I'm saying is keep the things that are really good. Keep the craftsmanship. Keep the things that people love about you. And make sure that you conceive new ideas in line with their needs. And continuously anticipate. It's no longer good enough being reactive. You have to anticipate what's going to happen. When we work with specifically compliance teams, we get called in a lot of times to come and put on plasters. So we would get a call saying, we've got a compliance team, we are taken to the cleaners on Hello Peter, can you please come and work with that team? And we get there and we go, guys, we've looked at how you respond to complaints, we've looked at your compliance, let's have a conversation about this. How many brand new complaints have you had in the last 12 months? I go, come on guys, tell me how many brand new complaints. I say the same old shit, day in and day out. And we ask, why do they keep on responding to the same old shit in the same old shitty manner? And it's because we don't create containers for them to really design and anticipate. If you train your people for moments of magic and you train them for moments of misery, they never have to be surprised by misery. They should go like, oh, it's one of those problems. I know how to solve this one. This one has been designed. And because I co-created the design of this solution, I know how to co-create on the fly. So in future, people are not going to have time to look at scripts. They're not going to have the luxury of saying, I'll call you back. You will have a very demanding consumer that wants an answer now. and they want it over FaceTime. So you've got to put on your fake smile and do some laughter yoga in between calls. So if we don't teach our people to do this on the fly and anticipate and conceive and create as they go along, we're gonna stay behind. The next thing is around crafting and continuously reinventing. Now, very often we get called in with people say, can you come and do a journey map for us? I go, yeah. We love doing journey maps. We do some kick-ass journey maps. But I have to warn you, once you have this journey map, you know, it's like having a baby, you know? You gotta grow with it. You gotta feed it. You've gotta look after it. You've gotta dress it. It's not, you know, it's not like teenage sex. It looks like a really good idea to do it, and you can tick a box and say, oh, we've got a journey map. We've got a really good journey map. Let me show it to you. We printed it on vinyl. It's against the wall here. We can play games on it as well. So it's not about having a once-off. It's really about reinventing that the whole time. And then the next thing is about creating these experiences and orchestrating the experience. And this is really like the conductor of an orchestra. And I think some of the video that you'll see with Craig Lee once we've cleaned up the audio is very much around leadership of the future. A millennial will not do things because you tell them to do things. It's much more creating followers and orchestrating those experiences. So to wrap up quickly, customers' expectations are changing faster than what any of us can adapt. So the best you can do is attempt at adapting and following kind of these design principles around reinventing yourself. Borders, if we look at the way Amazon just led to the demise of Borders. Borders were selling really great books. You could go in there, they'd had puppet shows and kids shows and really amazing bookstore. But what they didn't keep up with is the fact that people want convenience. I want to lie in bed Saturday morning, 10 o'clock, and I want to download a book. And even now, going further, I don't want to download a book to read anymore because it's just too much effort. I want to download an audiobook so I can listen to it. So have we changed what it means to have a book? Still getting the same end result. It's just not that I have to go to a store to buy a paper book. Do I still buy paper books? Absolutely. I got Lou Carbone and all of the other experience gurus' books in hard copy because I want them to sign it and I want to touch it. Do I have their audiobooks? Absolutely, because I don't have time to read their paper books. Okay, you see what I mean? Okay, so loyalty will exist only for as long as you make a customer feel valued. Lou Carbone tells a story about traveling, and he says on this particular airline that flies to this particular place where he needs to go, they make him turn into a 4-year-old toddler that wants to throw tantrums on the floor. And in that moment, it's not about their brand, it's about how their brand makes him feel about himself. You know the places you avoid going because you turn into an absolute witch or a bitch or a bastard when you go there. You know those brands that you avoid because you go, they're just going to turn me into a bad person again. Okay, so that's really what that is about. So my invitation is to you is get started. Get started, and if you're on your journey, don't stop. I think in my experience with customer experience, it's a long and lonely journey at times, and you've got to ask yourself, the energy that you're expending, am I making a difference? And I think when you get to that point, just tell yourself, you're making a difference. And then wear your boxer shorts. Okay, so that's it from me. I want to open up for a few questions, maybe Josh, then we'll do a draw, and one amazing person will go home with the John Bliss book.